Hello everybody, and welcome to this presentation of how to use MERLOT like a pro for free. This webinar today, or this presentation, is going to introduce you to all the features of MERLOT, explain what MERLOT is, and tell you about the benefits of a free membership. So today's agenda is that we're going to, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about what MERLOT is and what the MERLOT collection is all about, the benefits and how to join. I'm then going to be talking about our OER Smart Search, and we have 3 different ways to do that. We're going to then talk about advanced textbook search in MERLOT. I'm going to then get into bookmark collections and course e-portfolios, and I know these words don't mean a lot right now, but hopefully at the end of this presentation, you'll know exactly what all those things mean. I'm going to then talk about our MERLOT community. And if time permits, we will talk a little bit about our content builder, which is a web authoring tool. And then also how you can submit those materials to MERLOT. So without further ado, as I said, my goal for this presentation is to really introduce you to the benefits of MERLOT. And so to start with that, MERLOT is a project of the California State University Chancellor's Office. We are funded by the Chancellor's Office. Our California State University Affordable Learning Solutions initiatives incorporate MERLOT into their services, and we're really a cornerstone of materials and resources for affordable learning solutions. If anybody is interested in what Affordable Learning Solutions is, there's a URL here at the bottom, als.csuprojects.org. And really a lot of wonderful low-cost and no-cost instructional materials. At the heart, MERLOT is a library. We have over 90,000 resources in our collection that are added by our members. That is one of the benefits we'll talk about of being a member, is that you can add materials that you find worthy and valuable to our collection for other people to access. We're also a community of learners. We have a multitude of disciplines. When you join, you specify what discipline you're in. We've got lots of resources, editorial boards, portals, a lot of things to help you become a community and join other people in your discipline. As I mentioned, we have over 90,000 materials. What stands us apart from other collections or a Google search is that a lot of our resources are peer-reviewed. We have over 20 different editorial boards. And a big part of our collection is open textbooks. We also have a smart search tool that I'll talk about in a minute that searches not only MERLOT but other digital libraries. We have an authoring tool, and we have membership of over 162,000 people. Just a brief history. MERLOT has been around for over 20 years. This is really a timeline of how we've evolved over the years from, you can see in 1997, very, very text intensive, to last year we released a new version of our website, and it's very streamlined. We know people want to come, they want to search, they want to find resources, and they want to leave, and we try and make that as simple as possible for them. And so this is what our homepage looks like now. You can see you've got search on the top. You can browse our collection, you can add materials, you can do a lot of things right here from the home page. In the top right corner of any page is context-sensitive help. So wherever you are, you can get help and information about that area of MERLOT. And we make it really easy for you to find what you need. So let's talk about the MERLOT collection first. The MERLOT collection, as I mentioned, is member-generated. And we have been collecting resources, as I said, for over 20 years. And we have editor reviews, we have peer reviews, we have user ratings, comments and discussions. Lots of different ways for you to understand the value of a material in MERLOT. And we don't actually host the materials on our website. We host the metadata. So if you do a search and you find a resource that sounds interesting based on the description and the discipline and what the material type is, you can then, we go and link out to it. And as I mentioned again, one of our biggest collections is our open textbooks, and we have over 7,700 of those. And just since 2012, free textbooks have saved over $800 million for students across the United States. Excuse me, and that's quite a savings. And so just to touch on our editorial boards for a minute and the reviews that make the MERLOT collection valuable, as I mentioned, we have a peer and editor review which validates the collection. So when something is added to MERLOT and it's in one of our editorial boards disciplines, they get an email notifying them of that, and they do a triage of it and give it an editor rating of 1 to 5. It then goes through a peer review process, and these are all volunteers. We have over 150 volunteers in MERLOT, and they then can do a peer review on it, and that peer review or editor's review is posted for that material, and I'll be showing you what the quality box looks like on a page. And so if you were to do a search in Google and you got 3 million hits in 3 seconds, you don't know the quality of any of those. If you do a search in MERLOT, you can sort by when it was added to MERLOT, so you know how recent the material is. You can sort by overall rating and things like that. So you have a better sense of the value of these materials. And so our boards are made up of an editor or co-editors, and then you have peer reviewers. And so we've been doing this since the inception of MERLOT as well. And so it seems to work really well for us, and it also gives you a sense of the value of the resources that you want to use for teaching and learning. And so let's get back to joining and all the benefits. And so, as I mentioned, from the home page, there's a link that says sign up. You click that, and you are taken to just a become a member page where we ask for your name, what your member type is, faculty, staff, administrator, librarian, staff, etc. What your discipline is and what your primary affiliation is. Those are the required fields, obviously, plus a username and password. And a profile is completed for you, and this is what the profile looks like. As you become active in MERLOT, you'll notice over here on the right side there's a contribution box. And as you submit things to MERLOT, or you create bookmark collections, which we're going to talk about, or create content builder websites, all those things are listed here so people can see how active you are. And in that regard, if somebody, say, is looking for materials in biology and they come across something you've done, they can look and see what other things you've done and how involved you are, and that gives them a sense of the value of MERLOT or the value of what you're offering. So as the membership of benefits goes, access to our content builder, being able to create bookmark collections, being able to add materials to MERLOT. You can also, if you're a member, you can be a peer reviewer if you want. And again, if you've created materials or you've come across materials that you think are quite useful, you can add those to MERLOT as well so others can benefit from those. So let's get into searching. And searching is really the cornerstone of what MERLOT offers. And so we have what we call our smart search. And so when you do a search in MERLOT and you enter a keyword, you're taken to a results page that looks like this. And so it tells you how many results were found. I did a search on business and it found 10,710 materials. From that results page, you can filter your results. You can see on the left side here all the different ways you can filter it by discipline, so that business discipline can be broken down into marketing, economics, and things like that. Material types, if you're looking for animations, simulations, textbooks, courses, and other types, you can do that as well. So whoops, let me just go back for 1 second. So at the top here, you'll see there are 3 tabs: the MERLOT collection, other libraries, and the web. And once you enter your keywords and you get these 3 tabs, you can see all the different results and options that you can choose from. And so the first one is the MERLOT collection. And you can go through and filter these, as I said, and find the resources that meet your criteria. This is just an expanded view of the different ways you can filter. You can also filter by quality, whether or not it has a peer review or an editor's review, or user comments or user ratings and things like that. Also, as I said, discipline, material type, or if it's got a mobile platform, if it can be used on a mobile device, or who the audience is if you're looking for something for upper division, lower division, grad school. You can filter that as well. So we have over 20 different material types, and you can filter by all of those. This was just me filtering the business, and I found something in economics. And so I'm just showing you how you can filter and just really narrow your results. So from 10,000 to 24 to narrow down what I wanted to find. And then this is a demonstration of one of the materials. So this principle of macroeconomics is listed in MERLOT as a resource, and you can see by the quality box that it has a peer review rating of 4.5, it has a user rating, and it also is in course e-portfolios, which we'll talk about. But just so this gives you a snapshot of what the resource is, and then if you go and click on this Go to Material link, you can see the actual material. And like I said, we host the metadata and we let you link out to those resources. The second tab is Other Libraries, and this is really an exciting feature in MERLOT that we added about a year and a half ago. So what we do here is we go and search 60, 70 other digital libraries, and I say 60 or 70 because depending on which ones are up, some may be down for maintenance, some may not have any materials based on your keywords. But we go out and search those other libraries and we bring you back the results. I think it was last year sometime Campus Technology called us the mothership of OER because we provide pretty much a one-stop shop for you to access and locate open education resources. And just like with the MERLOT collection, you can filter your results here by library. And you can also filter them by Creative Commons license. So you could pick one of these libraries and then filter by Creative Commons license to really narrow your search based on what keywords you enter. The third tab is the web. And we worked with Google to create what we call a Coca-Cola recipe, if you will. An algorithm based on keywords, disciplines for higher education and OER, and those results are brought back in this third tab. And you can see on the left here that, again, you can filter your results by Creative Commons license and discipline to find materials that fit your criteria. And so based on these three tabs, I'm a little biased here, but I like to say if you can't find what you're looking for based on these three tabs, what you're looking for probably doesn't exist. We then took the search one step further, and we have what we call our ISBN search. And what this allows you to do is take an ISBN number from a textbook. Maybe it's a cost textbook that you're using for your course and it's costing your students a fortune. Or you'd want to see if there's supplemental materials you can use in addition to or in place of this textbook. So in MERLOT, you can enter the ISBN number, and we not only return other open textbooks that might fit that profile, but we also provide supplemental materials and resources that you can use, as I said, in addition to or in place of that textbook. So from the home page, you can either enter your ISBN number right in the search box, and we recognize it as such, and we say, are you doing an ISBN search? Or you can see underneath the text field here, the keyword search, is an ISBN link, which will take you to this ISBN page. You enter your number very simply, and then you are taken to a similar hit list. And so I put in an ISBN number for macroeconomics, and it gave me 56 results based on that ISBN number. It tells me what the title and author are of that book that I put the number in for. And I can search over here on the left, filter on the left here by material type. So you can see that there are 29 open textbooks that match that title and author. And again, this is we're searching libraries, and so there's keywords that are associated with this, and this allows you to find other materials. We take it another step. Again, we're trying to make this as easy as possible for you to find what you're looking for. And so we also have advanced search, as you might guess, for materials and members. And you can get to those from the home page as well. If you're on any other page other than the home page, up in the right corner is a link for the advanced material search and the advanced member search. And so the advanced material search looks like this. I know it's a little hard to see, but I wanted to just give you a sense of all the different ways you can narrow your search. So you can search by discipline. You can search also, in addition to really narrow your search, by material type, audience, the material quality, whether or not it has a peer review, whether or not it has a user rating, whether or not it has accessibility information, and then also technical format if you're looking for a PDF or a video, things like that. You can also search by Creative Commons license, whether or not there's a cost, because we do have some materials in MERLOT that are low cost, not free, but the majority are free. You can also search by language. We have over 100 different languages listed in MERLOT. Not all of them are represented by materials, but you can search for, if you're looking for materials in Chinese or Spanish or whatever the language is, French, Russian, you can narrow your search that way as well. And then we have the advanced member search, and I just threw this one up in business. So you could select a discipline here for business. Again, same types of things, member type, whether or not somebody is a peer reviewer. Maybe you're looking for people at your university, so you could search here by affiliation, narrow your search to just people from Rutgers, and or people who have joined in the last week, month, year. Perhaps you're assigning your students to join MERLOT and add a material. And this would be a good way just to see who is part of that membership. And so that's that's pretty much all the ways you can find materials in MERLOT. And now I'm going to talk about ways that you can organize what you find into collections so you don't lose the valuable resources that you locate. And so that's where bookmark collections come in. I apologize, I'm hitting this too fast. So a bookmark collection, it's an organization of resources that you find in MERLOT. Imagine that you have, just like on your browser, you have bookmark folders with different materials in them. You can do the same thing in MERLOT. So you can find materials and put them into a bookmark collection or folder. And that bookmark collection has a unique URL. So you could gather materials in the collection that you want to use in a course, put them all together, add notes, which I'll show you, and then send it to your students or other faculty and with the unique URL and say, these are all the things I found in MERLOT for biology or chemistry or mathematics, whatever your discipline. So it really provides MERLOT members with a way to define strategic elements of a course and allows you to save your favorites in one place. So this is what a bookmark collection looks like. I've just put 3 things in here just so you can get a sense. And so you'll notice here on the left that we've got arrows. You can, once you put everything into your collection, you can order it how you want, perhaps week 1, week 2, week 3. On the right here, you can add a note for each one. And if you decide you don't want something in there, you can just delete it. You can also add things into MERLOT that aren't in the MERLOT collection. So if you have resources that are outside of the collection, you can add those here as well. You can also search for a collection. So here I can specify a discipline, and then you'll see down here under material quality says has bookmark collections. And I like to think that if you find materials in MERLOT in your discipline and you notice that it's in 3, 10, 40, 50, whatever the number, different bookmark collections, that adds value to it. That means enough people have bookmarked it that they think it's valuable to come back to, and that besides the other quality ratings, that adds a sense of value for that material. So you can search here by any discipline, and once you select a discipline, let's say you were selecting science and technology, you could then narrow your search and then select a quality for bookmark collection. So how do we create these bookmark collections? Sounds great in theory that you can have all these in MERLOT, but how do you actually create them? So I showed you before a material detail page, and here's another one. And again, notice the quality box in the right corner here, telling you the value of the material. So just underneath the Go To Material link is a link that says Bookmark or Add to Course ePortfolio. So if you click on that link, it will take you to one of two different pop-up modals. The one on the left is for somebody who has never created a bookmark collection before, and this is what you would see. So you would enter the title of your collection. Maybe it's Psych 101, and you add a description. And you just click Create and add this material. So the material that you started with would be the first item in this bookmark collection. If you've created a bookmark collection already, or a multiple of collections, you would see the box on the right. And this way, let's say you've created, you might be a librarian who's creating a chemistry one and a mathematics one and a world languages and a psychology. And so you find a material and this second box here pops up, and you can decide which bookmark collection you want to put it in. So you can always be creating multiple bookmark collections in MERLOT. And once you click to add that to a collection, again, this is what it looks like. Now, one of the nice features in MERLOT, I showed you how you could do an advanced search by a discipline for either a member or a material. And so let's say you come across a material and it shows that it's in 26 bookmark collections. And you go and you click on that and you look at all these different collections and you find one where somebody has created a collection that pretty much matches what you're looking to create. So what we've allowed you to do here, you'll notice in the right corner we have some icons, and the first icon is copy this bookmark collection. So you click that link, and now this bookmark collection that I've created for international business is now in my profile. I now have a bookmark collection called International Business. The person who was the originator of that would get an email saying something to the effect of, somebody thought this was so valuable that they created a copy of it. And basically what you're doing is you're making a copy of those links. And now you have a unique URL that's been generated for your bookmark collection. You'll notice over here on the left, Creative Commons license. So if you were to click that, you get the attribution of all that has been created for this bookmark. So you might be the fourth person who's made a copy of it, and we show the attribution for that. Once this is yours, you can add to it, delete from it, and it doesn't affect the other bookmark collection. So if you find some valuable bookmarks as a starting point, it's a great way to continue adding for your needs. And here's just another version of a bookmark collection. And as I mentioned, the Creative Commons license. And so when it was added to MERLOT, who added it, and you get a title and you can give it a description. And then for each of these entries, you can also, underneath the title, you can put a note in there. And then again, you can search here for other materials in MERLOT that you could add to this bookmark collection. And you can also click this link to add an external link. It might be a syllabus or a site you've created that you could put into your bookmark collection as well. They don't have to all be from MERLOT. So we created these bookmark collections a long time ago, And then we decided to take it a step further, and we created what is called a course e-portfolio. So the e-portfolio is really an extension of a bookmark collection. So what you do is, if you have a bookmark collection, you can turn it into a course e-portfolio. And what that allows you to do is really build a course with this e-portfolio, where we give you fields to define your prerequisites, the learning outcomes, online course resources, pedagogical approach, and really define those strategic elements of your course. And just like the course e-portfolio, just like the bookmark collection, this course e-portfolio also has a unique URL. So now I'm going to talk about the MERLOT community. And again, keep in mind that any page you're on in MERLOT, in the top right corner is that question mark, which will take you to help about the page you're on. But there's also a search. So if you want more information on bookmark collections or course e-portfolios, you can search our help, and we have a lot of how-to videos and explanations in more detail about what these are. So our MERLOT community is really an amazing community. We have members all over the world. Based on the UN's list of 195 countries, MERLOT has representation, if you will, in 184 of those countries. We have over 20 editorial boards with subject matter experts in all of those. We also have academic discipline and support portals. So besides the materials and resources that are in MERLOT, we also have portals that have alerts and resources based on that discipline. We list all the new members and materials of that discipline and all the sub-disciplines within, say, business or chemistry or engineering, things like that. A big part of MERLOT is our partnerships. We have partnerships with various systems, and they give us input on things they'd like to see in MERLOT, and also on our Affordable Learning Solutions initiative that we're a part of through the California State University system. And so they have portals that they have created, which allows people to see what other universities or systems are doing and what they might be able to do with MERLOT. We also have a virtual speakers bureau. And this was started, maybe over 15 years ago. And what it allows is to connect people, members in MERLOT, with each other who offer an expertise that perhaps you are lacking in a course you're teaching. And so you can do an advanced member search, in MERLOT, and select Virtual Speakers Bureau member. You can select a discipline, and you can find people who have signed up in MERLOT to be a virtual speaker. Once you connect with them, that's a relationship that is between the two of you, and MERLOT takes a step back. But that allows you to maybe find someone who might be able to come speak in your class face-to-face, or do a virtual session with your students on a particular topic. And so these are all different ways our community comes together. And so from our homepage, we have this section called Community. And one of the things we've just recently added to show how we have members all around the world is this icon here that says Members Around the World. And if you click on that, it takes you to a page that has a map, and you can go around and hover on any of these countries, and it will tell you how many members are in MERLOT from that country. If you click on that country, it will take you to a hit list of those members. So perhaps maybe you're going to go give a talk somewhere, and you want to see if there's any MERLOT members there that you might coordinate with. You can do that. Or just want to see where there are other people in MERLOT. So we really have an international following. And as I mentioned before, members can contribute materials in any language and search in any language as well. We also have a Google Translate that you can translate any page, although I know these days browsers do that pretty well in addition to Google Translate. But we just let you allow you to find members and materials in all different ways. And so some of our academic discipline communities that make up the MERLOT community are listed here. And these are the ones that we have editorial boards for and that we have portals for, which I mentioned are an extension of the materials that you find in MERLOT. So you really can, quote unquote, shop in any of these discipline collections for specific resources, or go to those portals. And let me just back up for a second here. You'll see here under community, we have academic discipline portals and academic support portals and partner portals. And by clicking on one of those will take you to a page that looks like this. Like this. I apologize. And each of these cards here represent a portal based on these disciplines. And this is what an individual portal looks like. So you've got, we always try and showcase a material that has won an award in MERLOT, new materials and members. And then I said we've got some Twitter feeds and some Google alerts that we have set up for each discipline in the portal. We also have what we call support communities. And our support communities, some of them have an editorial board, like faculty development, ICT literacy, library and information services. And some are just portals or websites that have been set up to provide you additional information on MERLOT, say in mobile learning or pedagogy or OpenCourseWare. And in fact, our mobile learning portal was just updated in the last couple of months. So it's really full of valuable information on mobile learning. And so those are our communities. And then, as I mentioned, we have partner portals, and those take you out to our partners' websites. They maintain those, they control them, but we provide links to them so people can access them. So because we have a little bit more time, I'm going to talk briefly about our content builder. And this is really exciting because in MERLOT, as a member, you can create websites that are hosted by MERLOT. And this content builder originated about 10 years ago. It was the Carnegie's Keep Toolkit. And we took it over and branded it for MERLOT as the content builder. And then back in October of last year, we released this new version, which we built completely from scratch. We did quite a bit of focus groups and usability testing to find out what people wanted. We added some new features. We tried to make it as easy as possible. And so hopefully in the next few slides that you see, you will like what you see. And another reason to become a member of MERLOT for free and use this resource. So as I've mentioned a couple of times throughout this, the content builder is really an easy to use website development and authoring tool. You can build a syllabus, you can build a website, you can build an OER, and MERLOT hosts those sites that you create. You can also add those to our repository. It's also, our previous versions were not, but this one is responsive. So depending on whether or not you're on a phone, a tablet, laptop, you'll see the same thing. It's easy to use. You can create e-portfolios, you can create lesson plans, student assignments, pretty much on the fly if you want your students to do something, professional profiles as well. So this is what the quote unquote homepage of the content builder looks like. From our MERLOT homepage, you can click on create a material, and this will take you here. You have to be a member and logged in. So these websites that that we allow you to create, and some of these talking points might be the same in a couple of slides. I wanted to make sure I got them across a couple of times. So you can integrate text, images, videos. You can even search MERLOT for a material and put a link to it in your website. So if you find something great and you want to highlight it on a website, you can do that as well. We've also, as long as you follow some of our rules in terms of alt tags, what you create is fully accessible. And you can collaborate. So you can be working on a website and want some input from somebody else. And as long as they are a MERLOT member, you can add them as a collaborator. So what happens is they get a link They can access the site, and while they're doing that, it's locked, so nobody else can make changes. They exit, it's unlocked, you can go in and work on it. So you're not creating multiple copies of anything, you're not sending things back and forth, you're just allowing somebody to come in and access it. And when you're done, you can remove them as a collaborator. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So this is the main site here. As you create various websites, they appear in your at the top of your page here in My Sites. Any one of these cards has various options associated with it based on these three little dots here. So this is where you would select whether or not you want to collaborate with somebody. Perhaps you gave it a name and now you want to change the name. This is where you can add it to MERLOT, where you can get the URL to share it with somebody. And anything you create in MERLOT is what we call private until you make it public. And so you could be working on a site for a week, a month, a day, and until you select here from this little drop down here to make it public, nobody else can see it. Once you make it public, then you have a URL that you can share with people. And so you can also add Google Analytics to your site. You can download it as a common cartridge. You can also add the Google Translate widget to it. So we really provide a lot of different options for you to create something. So to create something, you're on this main page here, and you can see this button at the top, Create a Website. We provide 15 different templates. Some of them, the first 5 that you see, are different layouts, just a blank template. And then depending on whether or not you're part of the CSU or, say, Affordable Learning or HBCUs, we have other templates that you can use to start creating your website. And basically what that is there's a layout with some images, and then we provide text in those different boxes to give you ideas to get you started on working on your website. So once you click Create Website and you select a template and you give it a name, you go to what we call our Design Center. And we really have 2 sides to our Design Center. The left is our control panel, where you can control all your sites and styles. And then you've got your canvas, and that's where you work on what you want to create. And so you can set what we call global styles. So all your boxes have the same font. All your header boxes have the same font and size. You can have a background color. You can set the color of the fonts, and so on. You can also add pages in your control panel, so you can have multiple pages, and the navigation appears all at the top. We also have an option, let's say you're creating a bunch of pages and one might be just a working page. You can choose not to have that in the navigation, so nobody would see that page if you were to give that URL out to anybody. And it's very easy to move the boxes around, add and delete them. If you delete something, it goes into our recycle bin up at the top here. And you can click on that recycle bin and click Revive, and that will go back to where it was before, so it's not completely lost when it's deleted. This also just saves as you go. So as you make changes, it saves. So if you leave for a while, nothing is lost. If you accidentally close the window or your computer shuts down or anything like that, it's saved as you go. So when you're building your website in MERLOT, you've got these different options for the page settings. And as I mentioned, you can add pages. You can make a copy of a page. So let's say you've created a great layout and you want to just change the text. You can copy that page and then just edit the information in that page. You can reorder them, you can duplicate them, and you can format the navigation bar and the different sections, headings, as I mentioned. We also have at the top, you can have a banner or an abstract. So you can have a banner image at the top. So you see here the keys on the piano is the banner image. You can then have an abstract, and then you can have all your boxes. And then I talked about collaboration, and this is really a great feature for people who want to work together. You have one owner, but you can have multiple collaborators. And those collaborators have edit permissions, and the site is locked when they are working on it. And again, it just allows a team to work together as a team and create a project. And so this is this little dialogue here that came up. You can search for a member in MERLOT, and then you can add them as a collaborator. And likewise, if you click on the collaborate option for that specific website on your home page, if they already are a collaborator, you can remove them as a collaborator. It's just an easy toggle. And then once you've put in your banner image and all those other attributes, this is what a website looks like, a finished product. And again, keeping in mind that this is all done in MERLOT, we've got some image here, some text. Over here on the right is a link to a MERLOT material. And throughout the Content Builder section, where it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're on the home page or you're in the Design Center, clicking on the help link, as I've mentioned before, not only gives you information about Content Builder, but we have, I think, almost 20 how-to videos on how to do things in MERLOT, in the Content Builder, to help you finish your project quickly and easily. So I've left some time for questions here at the end, but just ways that you can get involved and keep in touch with MERLOT, our Twitter, our Facebook. We have a YouTube channel, as I mentioned, with lots of videos, not just on Content Builder, but on searching MERLOT and how to use MERLOT. We also have something called Voices, which is a website of discussion forums. It does require a separate login, but it allows you to have conversations with other people based on your discipline or what you're teaching or just whatever questions. And then the most important email address here, webmaster@merlot.org, which will get to me and one of my other teammates, and we'll answer any questions you have. Be happy to have a one-on-one session with you if there's questions you have about this. I know in the interest of time, 45 minutes is pretty quick to go through all these features, but I can't stress enough that this is free. I know it's hard to believe, but all these options and resources you have in MERLOT at your fingertips are free, especially the Content Builder, and we hope that you'll take some time to check it out. Again, www.merlot.org.